Strap yourselves in and lift off. Here we are again, folks. Welcome to another episode live stream of Elvis, the Ultimate Fan Channel. And you will have to strap yourself in because it's blowing a gale out there. But hey, don't worry about the weather. Let's have plenty of Elvis fun, shall we? Welcome to Elvis, the Ultimate Fan Channel. The place where, Dave says gorgeous weather here. Well, can you send some over, please, Dave? Because as I say, it's absolutely blowing a gale out there and it's been raining most of the day as well. So, yeah, not great. Right, so as I say, you found the place. If you're looking for trouble, you haven't come to the right place, because what we've got here is we've got Elvis fun from beginning to end, and of course we keep the flame lit, and we keep the legacy and the memory of Elvis alive. And how do we do that? Well, I tell you how we do it. We do it by having an Elvis quiz in a couple of minutes. We have a topic, as you can see, new Elvis documentary, The Media Confusion. I will throw more light on that in a few minutes. And you can call me. You can get in the Discord queue now using the link below. Or you can, of course, call me on the telephone number on the screen, or Facebook Messenger, or WhatsApp. Okay? Not yet, of course. We'll be doing This Day in Elvis History. There will be a live poll which will sort of mesh in with the new Elvis documentary. By the way, if you hadn't seen the new Elvis documentary when we were talking about it this time last week, but you have now, you can still call in and discuss whatever you want to discuss about it, because we're kind of still doing. This week the topic is about the new documentary. We're going to do it for one more week. Underrated Elvis song. I wish Elvis had recorded this song. Caption the photo. Great fun with that. Smoking Hot, of course. I'm pretty sure a lot of you now will have seen this on YouTube. The unseen and unreleased 1971 footage inside Graceland on December the 25th, 1971. Of course, Christmas Day, of Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley, and Priscilla. And it's only a 6-second snippet, but there is more. It's a 3-minute video, a 3-minute film in total, and it's been put up for auction from the collection of Mike Stone. And unfortunately, this is the best I can do, because the video on YouTube is somebody videoing the video on their laptop. So that's about the best I can do. I'm sure it is actually better than that when you view it, the actual film itself. $50,000 is the asking price. And I want to tell you that for anybody that's unsure of its authenticity, I can tell you 100% that it is Elvis Presley, Lisa Marie Presley, and Priscilla Presley in Graceland, Christmas Day 1971. How do I know that? Because I asked Mike Stone. That's how. I asked Mike yesterday. Okay, so, and as I say, if you come across anybody else, how did Mike Stone have this video? Inquiring minds want to know. Tracy, that is down the line, unfortunately. I wasn't going to ask Mike that directly. I will ask that to Mike if he ever comes on the show and tells us the story about this 8mm movie. But I will ask him. So there you are. And if you see anybody on social media or anywhere else saying they don't believe this is true, they don't believe this is Elvis and Lisa and Priscilla, it is, because Mike Stone has actually said, yes, I have put that up for auction. And if you want to go to the website, it's gottahaverockandroll.com, and you'll see the listing there, and you'll see a picture of Mike holding the cartridge of film as well. So there you are. That is it. That is going to be the topic next week, because as I always say, when something like this comes out, I always like to let the dust settle for a few days, and I also want to make sure that everybody has actually seen that 6-second clip, and then we can talk about it next week. So that will be the topic next week. The Elvis Presley 1971 unreleased and unseen home movie inside Graceland, Christmas Day. Okay, so that is what I will be looking for you to watch and for you to call me next week. I will leave a link to that YouTube video. I just want to move something. I will leave a link below to that YouTube video. So all you have to do after the show, not yet because I haven't done it, click on that and it will take you to that video. That's all you need to do, is click on the link and it will take you to that video. Okay, so without further ado, we better do this.
Hidden Elvis clue number 1.
As I always tell you, we do a new thing. We only introduced it about 4 weeks ago. Hidden Elvis clue number 1. I give you 4 clues, then I tell you what it is, whether it's an item of clothing or an Elvis movie or somebody that knew Elvis or something like that to do with Elvis's life and career. And when you put all 4 clues together, you should be able to tell me on the chat what it is. Okay, what it is. Why is it so short? Dave, the reason why it's so short is because they're trying to sell it, and if they showed you too much, nobody would want to buy it. So that's why it's so short. It's expensive for the length. Well, it's 3 minutes long. It is. I suppose it's $16,000. Is it, or something like that, per minute if it's 3 minutes long? So work out. You do the math, but yeah. I don't know if there's been any bids yet. I will go back on to gottahaverockandroll.com later on and have a look to see if there's been any bids. But the starting price is $50,000 for that movie. Right, so yeah, the hidden Elvis clue number 1 is TikTok. Okay, that is the first clue. Put them together with the other 3 clues and you'll be able to tell me what it is. Right. Fan of the Month quiz. General knowledge. I'm having so much fun with these general knowledge quizzes that I'm gonna do another one, and we might do a specialist subject next week. Let's see what we think. I have a suspicion already, I think. Hold that thought, Dylan. Don't go. Dave says, I thought it was the total length was 6 seconds. No, Dave, if you read the description underneath the video, it tells you how long it is. 3 minutes. Right, here we go. What are we looking at here? We are looking at Fan of the Month quiz. And the first question is, name the dentist Elvis visited the night before his death. What do you think of that? And as always, Dave and Chris are helping me moderate. Now, I should have said, actually, I want his first and second name. Does anybody know his first name? Or am I going to have to just go with... Hey! I'm going to take Juan Lozano, because he has actually put Dr. Lester Hoffman. And what I've got written down on the sheet is... I can't show you, because if I showed you... it would show all the other questions and answers as well. Dylan says Dr. Zhivago. So, to be honest, I'm going to go for Juan. Well done, Juan. And I have actually changed the quiz jingle, and it's this.
Did 29 pictures like that, maybe.
Yeah. Also in honor of the 1968 TV special, I thought I'd make it something from that. Right, here we go. What is the name of the hotel in Las Vegas, formerly known as the Hilton, which Elvis obviously appeared in. So what is the name of the hotel in Las Vegas, formerly known as the Hilton? Oh, yeah. Mike M says International. It was the International. Elvis Nation says International Hotel. Paul says International. Yeah, believe it or not, it is the Westgate or Westgate. That's it. That's what it's known as now. And it was Priscilla. Well done, Priscilla. Not the Priscilla, of course. Well done, Priscilla. You get this.
Did 29 pictures like that, maybe.
Okay. Now, this is a good one because I want you to complete this "that's the way it is" quote. Okay, maybe I should say this like Elvis. B.J. Thomas has out a new record. What did he say after that? B.J. Thomas has out a new record. Priscilla is excited because, yes, it's the first time ever. Now, there's people close. In fact, Brent was close, Dylan was close, but it is actually, he does actually say, I don't particularly like it. So the person that said, I don't particularly like it, believe it or not, because Elvis Nation and Dylan's World said, I don't like it very much. The first person to tell me that it was, I don't particularly like it, was John Rowley. Yes, although Chris R says Sally, so I'm going to have to go back and have a look. I see John. I don't particularly like it. Yeah, so I'm going to go with John, and John gets this.
Did 29 pictures like that, maybe.
I think I've used that before for the quiz, and I particularly like it. It's not that I don't particularly like it, it's I particularly like it. What was Elvis's 20th movie? That's the next question. You need to give me what Elvis's 20th movie was. Here I'm scared, tickle me, girl happy, spin out, tickle me, clam bake. I don't get these people. What's that, Anula? Dylan says Frankie and Johnny. Margaret says clam bake. And Arkansas Dave is telling me quite correctly that it was Dylan's World because it was Frankie and Johnny. Well done, Dylan. Dylan, you're off the mark. And that means that you get this.
Did 29 pictures like that, maybe.
Paul says girls. No, Paul. No, it wasn't. What was I going to say? Yeah, that's one of my favourite parts of the 68 TV special is when he does that. He tells the story and then he says about there's something wrong with my lip. Okay. Finish this quote as well. I drink Gatorade because... I drink Gatorade because... Teresa Fedorchuk. I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome, Teresa, if I haven't. Okay, right. So the answer is it aids my gator. Okay, and it looks like it was Leo. 1, 2, 3. Well done, Leo.
Did 29 pictures like that, maybe.
Yeah, it aids my gator. And another one. Yes. Something else Elvis said, and we're quite familiar with it, I believe. A lot of people know this quote. And he says to a reporter, I don't care if the fans rip the shirt off my back. Then he said something else after that. I don't care if the fans rip the shirt off my back. And then he said, because something. Close, Tracy. It is actually, yeah, they put it there. Yes, they put it there. So I don't think he said they paid for it. I think it was they put it there. Yeah. So I'm gonna question Dave there, because I think Rebel Vegan said they put it there, which is good enough for me. Yes. So I'm gonna go Rebel. Well done, Rebel. And you get this. I'm picking up a bit now, was under the weather after COVID jab. Oh no, Chris. Yeah, I know a lot of people that didn't feel too good after the COVID jab. So Rebel, you get this.
Did 29 pictures like that, baby.
Right. I hope you enjoyed those questions. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. All a bit of fun. There is a small prize at the end of each month, the beginning of next month, normally when I get it out. So there is something to play for. And we are going to move on to the topic. And of course, as I said earlier on, put my pen safe. I want to just revisit the Elvis documentary that was on Netflix. This one, of course, Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. It dropped on November the 13th. We did discuss it last week. Yes, we did. We had a lot of great calls about it. And I saw a lot of great comments. I read a lot of great comments after the show as well. People leaving their comments when they watched it on playback, not live. So I saw a lot of great comments. But this was something that struck me during the week after reading some of the reviews from the media. And basically what it is the media have sort of pinpointed things that they feel the documentary left out. But I question nearly all of these. And the first one is the death of Elvis's twin brother and its impact on him. Now, despite this importance, Jesse's story is not a focus of the documentary. This is an interesting choice, particularly because there are a number of other biographical details provided in the documentary, even with the focus being on the comeback special. So I don't really know what's, saying about the death of Elvis's twin brother had on, this documentary on the 68 comeback special. So I don't think there was any need to mention that. So leaving that out had no bearing on it, really, to be honest. It avoids the controversy regarding Big Mama Thornton. The documentary avoids directly acknowledging the accusations that Elvis stole his music from black musicians, an accusation that has been lodged against him numerous times throughout the years. This continues to be a heated debate, with many specifically arguing that he stole Hound Dog from Big Mama Thornton, an American singer and songwriter who began her career several years before Elvis. Co-writer of the song Mike Stoller has maintained he didn't steal it, but it remains a contentious topic. Well, all I'm going to say about that is Elvis covered it. He covered many, many songs during his career. But why are they pinpointing him stealing Hound Dog from Big Mama Thornton? Again, makes absolutely no sense, and I don't think there was any need for them to put it in the documentary. So they didn't leave it out. This one is even stranger. Elvis and Priscilla's age gap is swept under the rug. This is a documentary about a so-called decline in Elvis's career during the 60s because of the movies. How bad were the movies, people? Yes, we know how bad they were because they kept on telling us during the documentary, didn't they? Okay. And then his revival in the 1968 comeback special, as they call it. And then obviously he went on to Vegas 69. The age gap between Priscilla and Elvis goes largely unspoken in the documentary. Why would it? Why wouldn't it be? Why? What? This? I don't know. Let's just forget that one, will we? what point would there have been in even mentioning the age gap in a documentary about Elvis's career in decline because of the movies and then the comeback special, the NBC TV special? I don't know. The issues between Elvis and his manager are only briefly referenced. Now, this I kind of agree with. I feel more attention could have been given to the conflict over the special, the triangle of sort of Elvis, Parker, and Steve Binder. Yes. So I kind of do agree that maybe they could have emphasized that a little bit more, but they shouldn't have said that it was Colonel Parker's idea to put the skits in. That's just plain silly. The next one doesn't delve into Elvis's many affairs. Again, why would this even have a place in this type of documentary? What has Elvis's affairs got to do with his comeback in the 1968 TV special? Lisa is largely absent from Return of the King. Lisa was 5 months old when the special was taped. What sort of involvement could Lisa have had? There is even one point actually in the taping of the NBC TV special. It's one of the outtakes when he's waiting for the tape to begin for the Guitar Man sequence. Somebody says in the audience, "Tell us about your daughter, Elvis." And he says, "Well, she's little." So I don't know. I really don't know what they mean by that. Lisa is largely absent from Return of the King. Again, that wasn't the focus of the documentary. History with medications is not featured. Again, no place for it. It had yet to become an issue in 1968, the issues that Elvis was going to have later on with medications. And finally, they say that it intentionally ends on a happy note before Elvis's death. Well, all I've got to say about that is, thankfully, yes, it does end on a happy note. It's refreshing that for once, a documentary finishes on a positive note. So many times we have had to endure documentaries emphasizing the final few years and how ill Elvis became. If this documentary had followed the same sort of tired route, it would have gone down in my rankings. Definitely would have gone way, way down in my rankings. So there you have it. Those are the things that apparently the press feel should have been included in the documentary Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. And the only one I really could sort of semi-agree with, was the issues between Elvis and his manager are only briefly referenced. I feel that they could have maybe given that a little bit more attention. The triangle, as I call it, between Elvis, Parker, and Steve Binder. So, what do you think? I can give you a poll to answer, and this is it. It kind of ties in with this topic, and it's, does the modern day media get Elvis and his career any more? Okay, that's the question I'm asking. Does the modern day media get Elvis and his career anymore? And there's only 3 options, very, very easy. Yes, no, and some do, and some don't. So I'm adding that now to the chat, and hopefully that will come up. Does the modern day media get Elvis and his career anymore? And you can vote away on that to your heart's content until we nearly get to the close of the show, and we'll have a look at it then. But of course, before we do anything else, we have to do
Hidden Elvis clue number 2.
Hidden Elvis clue number 2. Yes, and it is $125,000. That is clue number 2. Put that with clue number 1, which was TikTok, okay, and see what we come up with. But without further ado, and I always look forward to this part of the live stream. Dylan's Elvis Tales. Good evening, Dylan. That's my fault. Good evening, Dylan.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm having technical difficulties because of the weather. The wind is blowing things off course.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Of course I can. I'm just pulling your leg.
Oh, why don't you scared then?
So, is it windy where you are?
Very windy.
Very windy, very, very windy. I'm just hoping it doesn't knock the power out before we get the show done. So, I don't know much about this tale this week. I just know a little bit from the two photographs that you've sent me. So, without further ado, I want you to launch into it.
Okay, so I'm gonna launch into the backstory first.
Okay.
And then, so I messaged Steve in a panic earlier on in the week, and I said, "Steve, I haven't got a tail." And Steve goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I haven't got a tail because the tale I was originally going to tell is how Larry London joined the band, but he goes off on a million different tangents that I can't keep up. So what am I going to do?" So then I came up with this one. So this is Dylan's emergency Elvis tale this week.
I should have had a different jingle for this, an emergency tale.
So
Okay.
This is my emergency tale.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people have said, what is the difference between the different players that came in and out of Elvis's band? And that's a valid question. So me being a drummer, I thought, let's answer this question from a drummer's perspective. What is the difference between Larry London and Ronnie Tutt?
Okay.
Well, their style of playing, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of points that I came up with. The first one being, Ronnie Tutt, you can tell that it's him because of his use of dynamics. Now, dynamics is just a posh music word for volume.
Okay.
Right? So if you hear his varying use of volume, it's Ronnie Tutt. Prime example, I'm Leaving. He's so quiet in the verse, but what he's doing is actually technically very difficult because he's using a thing called ghost notes, which basically means notes in between the loud bits, essentially.
Oh, wow.
But then he explodes in the chorus. So that's dynamics. That's one of the reasons you can tell it's Ronnie. The second one is his toms, his rack toms. They are so fat and so juicy that anytime he hits a fill, you notice him straight away.
Okay.
So that's Ronnie.
So what about Larry then? Larry London?
Larry London. There is one standout thing you can tell. There's Larry. Because Larry has only got one volume. Loud.
Yeah, when you're listening to some of the concerts that he filled in for Ronnie, you can tell that it's not Ronnie, can't you? How many concerts did he play in the end? I know he played the last two, didn't he? I think the 25th and the 26th of June. Yeah.
And he did a full tour in March of '76.
He did a full tour in 1976. I think this photograph that I'm showing is from '76 because Elvis is wearing the bicentennial suit.
Yeah. So that is '76. So yeah, Larry has only got one volume loud.
Okay.
So you can tell that it's Larry, but also the way that he attacks the drums.
Yeah.
Right? The way that he's pounding the drums, you can tell that it's not Ronnie. Because even though Ronnie did pound him, he didn't do it in a jazz way.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that Larry's got a little bit of jazz training in his playing.
Uh-huh.
So that's the differences that I can find. So there you go.
Very, very interesting. Ghost notes. I think I've never heard that saying until tonight. Ghost notes. I love it.
Ghost notes.
Ghost notes. Yeah.
Yeah, ghost notes. It's just notes in between the loud notes is my understanding of it. But there's probably a better definition out there. But that's my version of it.
Okay, so what do you think of the media getting confused with the documentary?
They've always hated him.
Does the modern media get Elvis's career today? No,
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I thought that
They've
as
always
well.
hated him. They've always hated him.
They kind of built him up to knock him down, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's why we've got to defend him.
Yeah, exactly.
So So yeah. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention real quick, just before I go.
Yeah.
People overlook the work that the original base did to keep Elvis's memory alive that first year or so after he died.
Oh
Right?
yeah, the original, the original fan clubs.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if it wasn't for the work that those guys did, I would not be a fan.
Yeah.
And people in different generations wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those people. And it gets overlooked, and it shouldn't, because they were a huge part of the reason why he's still so popular today.
I agree. Very quickly, but obviously we'll be discussing this in depth next week. You've seen this 1971 home movie, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You were a little bit on sort of the fence, weren't you? Until I told you. Well, I'd asked Mike, was it genuine, and it was. Mike told me, yes, this is genuine. Yeah.
I was on the fence, but now I know. I'm like, oh, it's great.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So next week it is. All righty. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Dylan's Elvis Tales. And we now move over to young Brent. How are you, Brent?
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm livid.
Oh.
In that special, I was expecting them to delve into Lamar Fike's favorite breakfast food, and they didn't make one mention of it. Not even Charlie Hodge's favorite t-shirt of choice. Not one mention. How dare they?
I know, yeah. So what do you think of these things that they're claiming they left out?
Well, first of all, I think if I were to psychoanalyze them, I think that the kind of sensational media, especially like what Dylan said in their determination to dethrone Elvis.
Oh dear, Brent has actually gone really, really robotic there, actually. I was wondering if he wants to clear it and maybe come back and talk to me. Or he can even call me on the other number if he wishes. Sorry, Brent, we will come back to you though, because as always, it sounds like you have a lot to say on this. We will go to Cam though. Hi, Cam.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Yes. So what do you think of the topic?
Steve, honestly, no, they don't get it. And you know what? They never have and they never will. Typical media, they have a predisposed opinion of Elvis, and in their opinion, he was a drug taker. He was washed out at the time of his death, and they will always see him that way, and they will always build him up to break him down.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said. They built him up to knock him down. I mean, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Some of the things. Elvis and Priscilla's age gap is swept under the rug. Why would that even have any place in a documentary like this?
It has no significance on the time in his career, firstly, and secondly, it's like I said earlier, they're looking for reasons to set him up, to say, yeah, I told you so. And you know what? It's fueling a fire for the haters out there. And it's those people that we having a hard time in getting rid of, because it's those stupid, ignorant, small people mindsets that why on earth should it have any reference on the documentary at all? Because then if that was in fact the reason or the facts that they wanted to highlight in the documentary, then they weren't making the documentary to highlight the importance of the 68 special as it was at the given time.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, they wanted to discuss topics that destroyed Elvis's character, diminished his musicianship, diminished his humanity, and etc. And no, those are the kind of people that we're still having a hard time defending him today. So I wouldn't even give them 10 seconds of my time.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling I get is they just completely and utterly missed what the focus of the documentary was. That's what I feel, anyway.
I mean, I mean, in my opinion, the title of the documentary itself to me is suspect. Nowhere did he fall or rise.
Yeah.
He was at the top of his career, and the 68 special took him further. So
Yeah.
my question is this: to the journalists that wanted to highlight topics in poor taste, in my opinion, of no relevance, to those journalists, I say, where did he fall? Prove on the charts, prove with regard to his record sales at the time that he fell. If they can prove that, then I'll take their point of view. And with regard to your earlier comment about him stealing Hound Dog from Big Mama Thornton,
Yeah.
I said it earlier in Rick's show, and it's something that I've realized for many years. A lot of artists that come and say, yeah, he stole their music. No, Steve, here's something to think about. Those artists went to the door of music, right? Elvis stepped through it.
Yeah.
There's the difference.
Well said. Absolutely. Do you know what? We'll leave it there because that was so well said.
Brilliant, Steve.
Thanks, Cam.
As usual, brilliant show as always.
And as always, it's a pleasure talking to you as well.
Thank you, brother.
Cheers, Cam. Bye bye. And let's try Brent again. Hi, Brent. How are you?
Hi, is the robot voice still there?
Oh, it is a little bit. We'll try again, will we?
Okay. I'm trying to speak closer to the mic. I don't know what's wrong. It could be on my end.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say this might be a good thing that this is happening, because if we're starting to look favorably toward Elvis, the media is infuriated, and that's why they're getting upset that the tabloidish stuff isn't being covered. This is a good sign.
It could be, yeah.
That we're tilting. It's tilting in his favor because there's too much greatness to be overlooked, and they're starting to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, things like Elvis and Priscilla's age gap is swept under the rug. Why would that even need to be part of the documentary?
They're not mad about that part. They're mad that this was celebratory in tone and not defaming in tone.
Ah, yeah, which is exactly what Cam said as well. You know, they weren't knocking him enough.
Yeah, they're all predatory, and when you're starting to look at him favorably, that's just irritating them. And that's why they're mentioning all these non-factors that wouldn't even fit with, like you said, the narrative or the theme of the presentation. It's sort of like, why don't we mention Vernon's favorite necktie? I mean, there's no relevance there.
Yeah. Okay. So you're voting no, don't you? That the media just don't get Elvis's career.
I think some of them are starting to, but the old hateful guard is very incensed right now because they can sense correctly so that the tide is turning.
Yeah. Have you seen this 1971 Home movie?
I've been busy with stuff already. I haven't got a chance to look at it, and I didn't know if it was just rumorville or if this was authenticated.
Yeah, it is authenticated. As I said to somebody earlier on, I have actually spoke to Mike Stone, and it is genuine. So get a look at it, and we'll talk about it next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Okay. All the best.
All right. Bye.
Always great to hear from Brent because he makes such salient points. Pity about the quality of the line. It wasn't that good, but we could make out what Brent was saying the second time anyway. And we're going to move on, and we'll move on to Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. Is it blowy with you?
Oh, yes, all day. Yeah, rain and winds, all day.
The joys of being in England and Ireland, yeah?
Yeah, I know. I was stuck in the cinema this afternoon. I was watching Paddington, so I was all right.
All right, Paddington in Peru.
Yeah,
great. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everybody else now. They've never got his career, and I can't understand why. They're one of the most popular artists of all time. They're both the most selling, the most talked about, the most impersonated, the most everything you can say. They'll never knock him down anyway because he'll always be the king, won't it? So whatever they say, it's sad that his life ended the way it did, and that's the way they want to portray him, isn't it? You know, the last 6 months of his life, you know, and everything
Yeah,
else. But
they didn't like that it ended on a happy note. Believe it or not, you know, they didn't delve into Elvis's many affairs. What would that have to do with the special? I don't know. I didn't get any of it. The only thing I did get, as I said earlier on, was maybe the issues between Elvis and Parker weren't referenced enough. But apart from that,
yeah, I suppose maybe they did it because it was referenced a fair bit in the movie, wasn't it? So they might have gone down that side. Well, you've seen bits in the film. We won't do it as strong because you probably, if you're an Elvis fan, you're going to know what happened between Parker and Elvis around that time. You've either know about it or you've seen the film now and and everything else. But yeah, the only thing I was real disappointed. I'm always disappointed. Really, is they always knock his film career.
oh yeah, and they did that big time this time, didn't they?
Yeah. I just don't, do they forget that he was the highest paid actor in the 60s?
Yeah.
Do they forget that he made 31 films? All these people who tried to make films after Elvis, like Cliff Richard, the Beatles, and all these people who were trying to do it, they never lasted.
They all made money as well. Okay, some of them didn't make as much money as they all made money.
Yeah, and who else was out there at that time doing films like that and having soundtrack albums that were coming to the number one and selling millions around the world? Nobody was like that. It was the films, it was the soundtrack, it was everything about Elvis. But what he did, like we've always said in the movies, for what he had to do and what he had to act and what his scripts were, he never looked out of place ever.
Mm-hmm.
No, he portrayed the part well. He did what he had to do, and I think in time he got better and better. But it's just a bit sad that they have to go on about that.
Yeah, some of those movies would never have been made if they'd hadn't been Elvis in them. I mean, he wrote he definitely put them up to a higher echelon than some of them.
All about him.
Yeah.
The man, seeing him on the screen, the songs he sang, it wasn't all about the movie, it was about that as well, wasn't it? And he was a diamond. He was a jewel, wasn't he?
He was yeah. You couldn't take your eyes off him, could you?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard a little bit of information on the hologram show. Have you heard any more?
No. I must get round to actually booking my date, but I haven't heard anything. No.
Yeah, well, I've got a good friend of mine who works with me. He's good friends with Todd Slaughter.
Oh yeah, I know Todd.
And Todd's been having a little back talking to him about it. I was talking to my friend about it the weekend after the show, and I said, I fancy going to go, and for next year it's coming. He was saying, it's not what you make it out to be, and he was telling me all that. I said, no. I said, I've had a chat with Todd. Like he says, basically you're going to be in a big arena, like a square arena, but you're not all going to be in there at the same time. And you're going to be wearing head goggles, and you're just going to be going through like a fantasy thing where you got your goggles on your head.
Right.
It's not going to be like the ABBA show. And he says, I think the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes, they take you in to where you're going to sit down to the 68 comeback.
Right.
And you're going to think that you're in that arena. And that's the only bit of concert footage I think you'll see.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's just inside information that I've heard, if it's true. And I think if it is like that, very disappointed when they could have done so much better with all the footage they've got.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a lot less than what we're expecting anyway.
Yeah, yes. Well, I was gobsmacked many times because he actually said to me, Todd actually said to the guy, my mate as well, he said, if the people who are behind this as well, if you go on company's house, he says, they've got no money. They're selling the tickets now to get the revenue in to fund the project.
Right. Okay.
So a bit more information there that I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is coming from Todd to my friend. So Todd usually knows a little bit.
Yeah, no, Todd's normally usually on the ball with these sort of things. So thanks for giving us that information. But I mean, I'll still be booking it though.
I'll still be. Yeah, it's still been experience, but I'd love to have thought with the technology they have today and AI and all that, it would get. He said to me, there's going to be no personality guy there, or anything like that with his head on, stuff like that. He looks like Elvis and moving around the stage of the show. I don't think it's going to be like that. You're going to visually go through your goggles in a big room or arena, and you're going to be just going through his life. And I think then it comes to the end, whatever the end is. End bit is going to be the 68. So,
right. Well, we'll definitely hear obviously we'll hear from people as soon as they go in May. So it'll be interested to. Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Mark. Thanks for the information. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
That sounds a little bit different to what we were expecting, doesn't it? So time will tell anyway. Let's see now. Quick question with Vincenzo. Hi, Vincenzo. How are you?
I'm doing good.
So, what do you think of these things that they think they left out on the on the documentary?
I think it's like everybody else that quadrant said. People hate Elvis.
Oh, right. So you're saying then that the modern media just don't get Elvis, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay.
I thought you, Steve.
All the best. I don't know. Is it me tonight, or some of the lines aren't great? We'll try Priscilla anyway. Hi, Priscilla.
Hey, Steve, my boy. How are you?
You're perfect by the sounds of it. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Interesting topic tonight.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
So the one I was drawn to was the notion that Elvis stole Hound Dog from him.
I know. Tell me about it. And what about the one? What about the one? They don't delve into Elvis's many affairs, or Elvis and Priscilla's age gap is swept under the rug.
Here they go. I don't think Elvis went out with anyone within 20 years of his age, so I don't think that for most of his life, I don't think. Look, wait, I tell you. Isn't it awful that they can't even come up with something new now?
Yeah.
That they keep after rehashing the same old nonsense. As for, the title that Elvis was given was King of Rock and Roll. He never accepted it, nor did he ever claim it.
No.
He said there was only one king, and he meant our Lord. He was a musician who loved what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He opened the door and was a cultural shift. He was obviously informed, inspired by the music I heard around him at the time, and a huge portion of that was the ethnic music that he lived with, the black culture, as well as country music. All of these, I just think it's so nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been enrolled into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Country Rock Hall of Fame, the Gospel Hall of Fame, the R&B Hall of Fame. I think there's 5. How many have I said there?
Yeah, I know.
Gospel, rock and roll.
I know. And do you know something? They were almost disappointed, right, that it ended on a happy note, weren't they? Can't get over that.
Well, you see, okay. So here's what's important, right? And I don't know who said it. One of the earlier callers mentioned that they just thought that Elvis was taking drugs and died. Now, I'm not saying that person said that, whoever was in the call. I'm saying that's what the media thought. However, let's have a look at any other musician that might have died under the auspices of drugs or alcohol. They're all lauded and glorified and raised up there. I mean, Jim Morrison. I think the list is tremendous. Unfortunately, those are the trappings that come with that lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elvis sold over 1 billion records worldwide. Now, We need to spend some time with this thought. He sold over 1 billion records worldwide when there was no social media, no internet, no fast spread news. Good news or good music travels. That's what Elvis did. He was the cultural shift that was required to bring us where we are now. That lost all that stayed, how's your father, repression that existed in the world, not just America at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a lot harder for Elvis to sell records than it is for artists now. It's a lot easier to market and get those sales. It was there was a lot more work had to go in to sell 1 million records then than it does now.
You just had to be really good, Steve.
Yeah, and he was.
Really? So why are these people insistent on bringing him down? Only because it causes controversy. We've spoken about this several times. There's no such thing as bad news.
No.
No such thing as bad news.
Well, as far as I know, yeah, exactly. I mean, as far as I know, the documentary is still doing well on Netflix. It's still being viewed highly. So that's that's the middle finger to the media, isn't it? If it's still doing well.
And that's exactly what I want to do. And you know me, Steve. I'm all about positivity. I do not focus on the negatives. I just continually say somebody in Netflix thought it was a good idea to invest in making this documentary and promoting it.
Yeah.
It did end on a positive note, Steve, and we should continue that positive vibe moving forward.
I agree. Now, I
don't want to sound like a lunatic.
Now, you make sure you watch that 1971 home movie. I know it's only like 6 seconds long, but make sure you watch that video because we'll be discussing it next week.
I'll do my homework, Steve.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
All the best.
Have a good week.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, so that's the calls. Great calls. Some of them were, I know the quality, sound quality was a little bit ropey on some of them, but we got the general gist of what people were trying to say. This day in Elvis history. Yes, this day in Elvis history, of course, and if this is a red letter day for you, anniversary, or you're just nosy like me and want to know what Elvis was doing on November the 24th down through the years, well, in 1956, he was in concert at Troy, Ohio, Hobart Arena, one matinee and one evening, and there's some great shots there from the shows. We've seen that. We've seen a jacket similar to that, haven't we? I know it as the 1957 striped jacket, but maybe he got it before 1957. Anyway, that's on this day in 1956. 1957, Elvis was home in Memphis. There was some trouble with the gates when Elvis and his friends wanted to go out for the night, so they all had to climb over the wall. Strange. How did they get the cars out? Unless they got the cars out the back way. I don't know. Anyway. 1960, Wild in a Country production. And there's a smash-in photograph of Elvis and Hope Lange, depending on how you want to say it. Striking beauty, actually, Hope Lange. She always struck me as even though I think she was around about the same age as Elvis, more of a motherly sort of figure. More grown up, more mature than Elvis's character. But there you are. That's just me. 1961, Kid Galahad production. On this day in 1965, Harem Scarum is released in theatres. And in 1968, The Trouble with Girls and How to Get Into It. Okay, 1971, the results of the blood tests in the ongoing paternity suit indicated that Elvis could not have been the father of the child of Patricia Parker. This is the lady that met Elvis. She had her photograph taken with Elvis, and then she claimed that the child she had was due to having relations with Elvis. And of course, he was completely cleared by having a blood test. And of course, Elvis joked that she got pregnant by Polaroid. And in 1976, we have some photographs. Elvis performed at the Centennial Coliseum, Reno, Nevada. Here he began his 8th tour of 1976. Linda accompanied him, although Elvis already had met Ginger Alden. So that was on this day in 1976 and down through the years as well. That's this day in Elvis history. And we do another one of these.
Hidden Elvis clue number 3.
Okay, so this is Hidden Elvis clue number 3 to go with the first two. And it is ABCTV. Okay, ABCTV. That's what it was. That's clue number 3. Now, I'm still asking you, still reminding you that you can vote on the poll, and it is, does the modern day media get Elvis and his career anymore? And it's very, very simple. It's just yes, no, or some do, some don't, if you're kind of sitting on the fence about it. This is all because of the points that some of the media pointed out, saying that they didn't mention this in the documentary. They didn't say this, the death of Elvis's twin brother and his impact on him. Avoids the controversy regarding Big Mama Thornton. They're saying that he stole Hound Dog. No, he didn't. He didn't steal it. He covered it. Elvis and Priscilla's age gap is swept under the rug. What that would have to do with it, I don't know. And all those sort of things as well. Lisa is largely absent from the return of the king. She was 5 months old. Why would she even be needed to be brought into the documentary about the 1968 television special? So we move on, and it is I Wish Elvis Had Recorded This Song. You can send in your suggestions like Elaine Burnham did, and she has suggested this, which is The Long and Winding Road, a song by the English rock band, of course, The Beatles, from their 1970 album Let It Be. It was written by Paul McCartney and credited to Lennon and McCartney. When issued as a single in May 1970, a month after the Beatles' breakup, it became the group's 20th and final #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and charted in the United States. Paul said he came up with the title during one of his first visits to his property, High Park Farm near Campbelltown in Scotland, which was purchased in June of 1966. The phrase was inspired by the sight of a road stretching up into the hills in the remote highlands surrounding of lochs and distant mountains. He wrote the song at the farm in 1968, inspired by the growing tension among the Beatles. Based on other comments Paul has made, the lyrics can be seen as him expressing his anguish at the direction of his personal life, as well as nostalgic look back at the Beatles' history. Paul recalled, I sat down at my piano in Scotland, started playing, and came up with that song. Imagine it was going to be done by somebody like Ray Charles or somebody like that. I have always found inspiration in the calm beauty of Scotland, and again it proved the place where I found inspiration. And Elaine told me it would have been so emotional and fans would have loved it. I wonder why he didn't record it, this is Elvis, as he did Get Back, Hey Jude, Something, and Yesterday. I'll put a link below, but I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with the Beatles' Long and Winding Road. And you can let me know below in the comments, if you're watching this on playback, what you think about Elvis sitting down at the piano and recording The Long and Winding Road, and then maybe doing it in concert as well. So yeah, you can send me those suggestions. And we move on. And we move on to Caption the Photo. Yes. Caption the photo. Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, caption the photo. And it's this one, of course, one with Elvis in the army. And some of the ones that I liked and some of the ones that you liked, because they got quite a few thumbs up but didn't quite win, it was Please Don't Drag That String Around. Hey Steve, give me a plug, would you? This is Tank Division Pal. Thank you very much. That's the last time I draw straws. This is the amount of electricity I have running through my veins. 4, I'm Just a Puppet on a String. If You're Looking for Trouble, You Came to the Right Base. I'm actually surprised that one didn't win, actually, because I thought that was good. If You're Looking for Trouble, You Came to the Right Base. I thought that was very clever. But anyway, the winner, voted for by you, was this one by Mrs. EAP Elaine, and it's I've Got Those Hup 2, 3, 4 Occupation GI Blues. So well done, Lorraine. I'll be doing another caption this photo next week. It's a good one. I've chosen it already. It's a funny one. It should elicit quite a few funny and amusing captions from you, and I will post it on the community tab on this this channel Monday or Tuesday-ish. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's still votes coming in for the Does the Modern Media Get Elvis and his career anymore? You can vote yes, no, or some do, others don't. Now, underrated Elvis song. Yes, underrated Elvis song. Chosen by Susan via the Discord channel. Yeah, if you haven't as yet joined our Discord channel, please do. The link is actually below, so you can click on that, and it's an invite. And she says, it's The Sound of Your Cry, and it's a song written by Bernie Baum, Bill Giant and Florence Kay. It reached number 19 on the Billboard Easy Listening chart in 1971 as a double A side with It's Only Love. And there it is. Yes. Elvis recorded the song on June the 4th, 1970, first day of the sessions, at RCA Studio B in Nashville, during what became known as the Nashville Marathon because of how many master recordings he and the band completed over the week-long sessions. So let's have a look. The Sound of Your Cry, how many takes did he do? He did 11. Now, not all of them were complete. Take 1s were long false starts. Take 2 was false start. By take 3, he'd done a complete take. False start 4 and 5. Complete take 6, 7, 8 and 9 not complete. 10 no. And then 11 was the master. And they added backup vocals, brass and strings late June. And the master is faded out. And Susan told me an underrated song for me is Sound of Your Cry. His performance on that song, the unedited master on Nashville album. Oh yes, of course, yeah, it was the unedited master appeared on this one. Is just incredible. The emotion he put into that recording, wow, one of my favourites. Now, no one could sing the same lyric over and over and have that capacity for not making it redundant and the level of emotion never faltering. He could have just done 5 minutes of singing that one refrain. Magical. There you are. So that's this week's underrated song, and it was sent in, as I say, by Susan on Discord. And of course, you can give me the ideas. You can send them in to me. Underrated songs, smoking hot photos, songs you wish Elvis had sung live, funny caption photos, all those things. You can send them to me on Discord or on the Elvis the Ultimate Fan channel at gmail.com. As you can with the, if you wish there's a song that Elvis sang on the piano as well, you can send that to me as well. Just a second, just to ask you, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. Click the subscribe button and click the bell that says all, because you get all notifications then. So it'd be very kind. And if you also watch this video every week, this live show every week, please give it a thumbs up. It does help to push this out to people, more people. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get as many people as possible and keep this flame lit. Okay. Right. So I'll leave a link for the undubbed master for The Sound of Your Cry as well. And you can send in your underrated songs. Now we've got to do this.
Hidden Elvis, fourth and final clue.
The fourth and final clue is May 12th, 1960. Okay? And it is a, if I can put this up, I think I can. Yes, I can. You can tell me now what you think that is from those 4 clues. It's a TV special. TV show. Now, I'm watching the chat to see who is the first person. Oh, yes. Well done. Mike M says, welcome home Elvis. Yes, it's the Timex welcome home Elvis. Of course, TikTok was the watch, of course. The 125,000 was the amount that Elvis was paid. Edwidge says Timex 1960 welcome home Elvis. Yes. The clue I just gave you there. Sorry, I gave you ABC TV as well. It was on ABC TV. And then the clue I just gave you there, which was May the 12th, 1960, was the date it was actually aired. Yes. So there you are. Juan Lozano had it after clue 2, Steve. Yeah, well, I normally ask for people not to say what it is until the 4th clue, but that's fine. That's no problem. Yeah, I understand. David was first, Steve. Well done, David. Well done. Yeah, that's we better close the poll, hadn't we? Let's see what I can do here. Here it is. Now, does the modern day media get Elvis and his career anymore? End the poll. Yes, here we go. And of course, looking at it, a mile out in front is no, they don't, 53%. Some do, others don't, 40%. And only yes, 6% say yes, the media do get Elvis's career. Okay. But it's very low, 6%. So overwhelmingly, really, no, they just don't get his career, do they? And as for some of those comments that they made about the things they missed out, Elvis and Priscilla's age gap, Lisa is largely absent from Return of the King. Just crazy, crazy. The controversy regarding Big Mama Thornton, crazy. Crazy. Right, we have to do this. Smoking hot photo of the week. Yes, Mike. I won't actually read that out, but you're quite correct with your comment. Everybody can see Mike's comment there, Mike M's comment. That's exactly the way they paint him, and it's absolutely disgraceful. That's the things that they latch on to now. Right. Without further ado, and there is one more thing after Smoking Hot, so just stick around for a second after Smoking Hot, but this is it. You can't really beat a Jailhouse Rock smoker, can you? You really can't, and that is a smoker. Mrs. EAP Elaine says, I'm ready, and she's got 4 flames, so she's ready for it already. Okay, so what we got? Yeah, Tracy says sultry. That would be right. Thank you, Tracy. Yes. Well done, Juan, for getting the Timex special. But I do actually ask people to hold off until the end, but it doesn't matter. You still did it. Well done, Dave. Juan. Right. So one other thing. So gorgeous, Mr. Perfect. Edwidge says sexy, handsome. Tasty and beautiful. Oh my, those eyes. I was just waiting for somebody to mention his eyes. They're definitely come to bed eyes, aren't they? And Danielle says mischievous look. Mrs. EAP says stunning. Yeah. Smouldering is another word we can use, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Juan, you're right. That is where he says, I like anything that goes with a steak. I'm broke. I could really tear into a steak. It does look like that scene, actually. Jane says, just look at those sexy eyes. Yes. He's wearing lipstick. Don't know whether it's lipstick, but it's probably movie makeup that he's wearing. Yeah. I don't know. I suppose that he had to wear makeup, I suppose. Steve, Streamlabs will go after you. Yeah, I know. Streamlabs will get me. Drop Dead Gorgeous, says Margaret. Yeah. A hunk of burning love, says the Echo. Now, yeah, this is one more thing. I'll just remove that Smoking Hot for a second to say that next week, please join me because we will be discussing this 1971 unreleased and unseen home video inside Graceland on Christmas Day that is up for auction. and it is genuine. It's 100% genuine. If you haven't watched it yet, please click on the link that I'm going to provide after the show, and if you click on that, it will take you to that video, and you can. It is brief. They've only released 6 seconds because they don't want to show the whole 3 minutes, because then nobody would buy it. They just watch it on the whole thing on here. So watch that, and I'm giving you a heads up now. I don't normally give you a week's notice, but I'm giving you a week's notice that is what I want you to discuss about. I want your calls and everything to come in and discuss that next week. Well, I had a great time this week. Thanks very much. We had some great callers. We had great fun with the quiz. Just overall great Elvis fun. Now let me put that smoking photo back up, just to go out on a high. We like going out on highs, don't we? Like the documentary. And Al, what do you say?
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.